And also, I do want to remind you guys that this show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is great. You guys can go to their Prize Picks right now. Look at Anthony Richardson, more or less than 40.5 rushing yards in this game. Anthony Richardson with a passing total not really being there lately. He's been leaning on the ground game a little bit. So again, Crossover Thursday is brought to you by Prize Picks, and that's a great thing to look at right there. Anthony Richardson, more or less than 40.5 rushing yards. Prime opportunity, especially as John mentioned in the last segment. I mean, if they're down linebackers in this game, Richardson might be able to run the ball a little bit more. Again, with the passing offense kind of struggling right now for the Colts. But John,
Can I say something to that?
yeah, jump on in.
Listen,
Jump on
guys,
in.
especially Texans fans, please take the less on Anthony Richardson's passing yards because
Yes, that might be
it
okay.
ain't happening. Well, I don't know what it is right now. It could be 90 yards. Take the less. Take
Whoa,
the
well, it's only one deep ball to Alec Pierce. Tell Jimmy Ward to get back out there this weekend, and
Oh
we'll get
man.
back to the deep ball over Jimmy Ward.
Oh man. I love these
Jim,
crossovers. I love these in division crossovers, man. It's so
oh
fun.
yeah, yeah. Look, we got to get Jimmy Ward healthy out there. That way we can get some deep passes out there in this game. Jimmy Ward's missed the last couple games, right?
He's been out.
Yeah,
Injuries have really so this team on all three levels of the game, they haven't been fully healthy. Right?
yeah.
I mean, we look at week 1 was probably one of our healthier games. Week 2, Joe Mixon goes out. And
Mhm.
this offense did not look the same without Joe Mixon. The game Joe Mixon comes back, he runs for over 100 yards, 3 TDs, they score 41 points. Joe Mixon, the 2 games that he's, debuted in for game 1 and coming back were the highest scoring games for the Houston Texans so far. So
Yeah.
he makes a hell of a lot of difference. Jimmy Ward being out there forces guys that may be good football players. Like I've become a fan of Eric Murray, and that's crazy because I used to talk about Eric Murray all the time. But the fact is, he should be playing within a role. And when he's
Yeah.
out there more than what he's supposed to be, bad things happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got to get guys healthy.
Definitely, definitely. And we're going to talk about what our teams need to do to win this game. 3 things for each of our teams here. And I always sound like a coach when I talk about my things the Colts need to do, because it always feels like such like high school coach thing where it's like, don't turn the ball over, be efficient on offense and win in the trenches. But honestly, that's what this comes down to for the Colts. I mean, look, the coaches kind of got that thing going. When it comes to the offense, Anthony Richardson, we need some efficiency. It doesn't need to be a 70% passing, day or whatever. It doesn't need to be this day where you're throwing the ball like Drew Brees out there, but it can't be a 40% passing day. It can't be 9 of your 13 drives being 3 and outs. It cannot be that to beat the Houston Texans. You can beat the Miami Dolphins that way. Perfectly fine, especially with whoever. There's Tim Boyle starting at quarterback, but you can't beat the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud that way by going 3 and out on every other drive. You have to supplement it with the run game or supplement it with the short passing game. There needs to be some efficiency in the Colts offense. When it comes to the defense, they got to win in the trenches in this game. Like you mentioned, John, the Texans offensive line has struggled lately. The Colts are coming to this game with like the most healthy defensive line they've had all year. Leatu Latu is healthy. Dio Dangbo is healthy. DeForest Buckner could be back. Kwity Paye is healthy. These are guys that can fire off the ball, attack. Grover Stewart can take advantage of some of those issues up there as well with his strength. Like, this is a game you really have to win the trenches. And then at the end of the day, win the turnover battle, baby. Like, that is,
Yeah.
I know we all talk about it. It's the most important thing for every team. But when you're going against a better team like the Houston Texans, who have this really good young quarterback in CJ Stroud, and you're, again, kind of the underdog, you can't turn the ball over. You have to take advantage of the couple that you can get, or if you can get a couple. And if you turn the ball over and give Stroud short field, you're not going to win the football game. So it's as simple as that. Don't turn the ball over on offense and then take the ball away on defense. Very simplistic things there, but something the Colts need to do to win this game.
My number one, and I'm going to go through 3, but my number one key to victory, give CJ time to throw the ball.
Right.
I have no doubt this team will be able to run over the Colts. Everybody has been able to run over the Colts. I mean, that has been a thing. You could be averaging 60 yards on the ground, but if you play the Colts this year, they're going to allow you to rush for over 100.
Except for
But
that Bears game. Hey, we did good against the Bears. So
what was the Bears total?
I think DeAndre Swift had like 4 yards rushing on like 15 carries. It was
That's pretty
great.
bad.
It was terrible. But besides that, you're making a perfectly valid point there, John.
It's a thing. But for the Texans offense, it really does come down to getting the totality of what this offense can look like. And
Yeah.
I've been very critical of this offense and play calling because I feel like even with Nico Collins going down, who is still top 5 of receiving yards after missing 2 games, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Tank Dell, you have Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie. You're using some of these receivers more as blockers than you're using them to run routes. That's incredibly insane. But the fact remains is, hey, listen, block, give CJ time, and spread that offense out. Allow him to pick his poison. But it all starts up front. So I agree. Very high schoolish. It starts in the trenches. And getting DeForest Buckner back for you guys, I think is big for the Colts. But that's also a big challenge for the Texans front 5. Give them time, protect well, handle what you're supposed to do, communicate, do your job, and give CJ time in the pocket. Number 2, run the ball. Don't make it hard. Don't overthink it. It's 2nd and 6, run the ball. 3rd and 1, run the ball. Run the ball. The opportunities will be there. But I also think when you're playing a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, do your job. And I say that because for you edge guys, you cannot lose outside containment. He'll take advantage of that. For our banged up secondary, the opportunities will come for you to create those turnovers. And I'm not even being funny at this point. He'll give you turnovers. Be where you're supposed to be. Stick to your assignment. Win the turnover battle, which is something that I think the Houston Texans have done fairly well this year. Give your offense a shorter field to work with and do your job. So those are my 3 things. It all starts up with the offensive line. Set the tone early. Punch them in the mouth before they punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
Give CJ that time, and we may see a phenomenal day.
Yeah, and one thing I will say before we get out of here, I know we've been joking back and forth with the T.Y. Hilton comments and how you got to bet the Colts in this one, but I love this matchup. I love these 2 teams. They're really fun teams to watch on Sundays, even if the Colts have to win ugly at times because they're young quarterback. 2 really well-coached teams, 2 second-year head coaches that have been doing great jobs with their franchises.
Right.
This game last year, like, again, not in this time of the year, but the last game of the season last year was for a playoff spot. And right now they're facing each other again for the division lead halfway through this year. These are 2 teams that have been at each other's throats the last couple seasons. And I think it'll be a tight game. I mean, outside of week 2 last year, these have been 1-score games, like a lot recently, even with the disparaging quarterback play, with CJ Stroud being
the
really
Texans
good.
have not swept the Colts since 2016.
There you go. So
that should be nearly 10 years later. They should sweep the Colts this year. But
and again,
I think
guys,
it'll be exciting.
And again, guys, the house that T.Y. Hilton built, you can't lose in the house that T.Y. Hilton built. Maybe just bring him back for a 1-day contract. We'll have some fun with it.
The last time he built a brick in that house, AARP was probably getting a call from him that very next day.
Yeah.
He's old. That's old news, Texas fan. Listen, let's talk, man. They better not lose this game Sunday. I'm gonna just say that.
It'll be a good game. It'll be a good game, everybody. The Colts get the Texans at a good time again. No Nico Collins, struggling offensive line. If you're serious about making the playoffs, Colts, this is the one you got to win. I'm not saying the Texans are this awful team or anything. Texans are a very good team, but you got to take advantage of these opportunities and make a name for yourself. You can't just keep beating the Dolphins every week and then expecting to make the playoffs. So this is a big game for both these teams. The Texans can give themselves some space too with the division.
I think on the flip side of that, if the Texans are as serious as we believe that they are, this is one of those games where you got to put this team down.
Yep.
Right. A lot of 1-score games for the Houston Texans this year. Colts, Chicago. The only blowout win that they've had has been against the New England Patriots. They've struggled offensively in a lot of these games. Defensively, they've been amazing through 7 games. So for Houston, listen, put this team away. Have that offensive explosion. You know that they're going to play you tight. They're going to play you tough. They're going to play you close. But this should be a game where you create separation from yourself and the second-best team in the division right now, which is one of the weaker divisions in the NFL. The Colts are going to get ahead of steam. It seems like that's going to happen. That's history. Put them away early.